Hey, what's going on, guys? Pete here with MixBetterNow.com, coming to you with the brand new Mix Critique Monday. It is Monday, May the 8th, 2017. As always, we got 4 mixes on deck this week. Very cool. We have mixes from NIK GIENGER. Nick, I know you told me your name rhymes with singer, so I'm pretty sure it's Ginger. We got Josh ERNISSE. We have a mix from JASPER HOLST. We got some Danish ska coming at you soon, and we also have a mix all the way from Russia. I'm really stoked about this, from OLGA ZHURAVLEVA. So really, really cool to have some music from all over the world. Very, very fun. If you are new to Mix Critique Monday, I just want to say welcome. What Mix Critique Monday is it is a platform for you to get a free mix critique, okay? All you have to do is email me, pete@mixbetternow.com. All the instructions are going to be below in the description box, or you can email me over at the website at mixbetternow.com. But like I said, all you have to do is email me a downloadable WAV file, okay? Prefer WAVs. Please send me a WAV file. Don't really like MP3s. Send me a WAV file. Please include your name, the name of the song / mix, and then the name of the band or artist if it is different from yours, and it's first come, first serve. So whenever I get them, I put them in line. There's no favoritism, anything like that. It literally is first come, first serve. And I just want you to know that everything I say on here is all positive. We don't do any hating. There's no negativity here. There's no malicious criticism. This is all constructive criticism. Everything I say is in a positive manner because I want to help you, essentially, you know, and everybody who listens. I want to help everybody sort of hear the things I'm hearing, and I want to share my insights with you so that you can make the tweaks to your mix that you need to get it to sound better. Okay, so first up, we've got a tune, let's see, by the band Sister Noises. All right, the song is called You and I, and this one is mixed by NIK GIENGER. So this is definitely not the first time we've heard some Sister Noises music on here, and let's just jump right into it and check it out. Here we go.
I've got a map of the world inside my head, and it takes me to places I've never been for only a minute, and then I'm back to this troubled world again.
Man, love the acoustic. I think your vocals sound awesome so far. It's great. Let's keep going.
And I grew up in a believing home, and most of my life I was told to leave him, and I tried to answer the questions. Tell me this, was I wrong to believe that you and I
All right, so a couple things I really want to commend you on, Nick. Everything sounds great, man. I love the some of these little what's the word I'm looking for? Of course, when I need that word, I can't. These accents you have going on with different instruments, okay? Like, you know, that little bell or triangle or whatever that is just so tasteful. And then as the, you know, you kind of had that delicate intro, and then as it started to build a little bit towards where the band came in, you sort of had some very cool, you know, just piano notes, not chords, just notes sort of building with it. And I love that. Rhythm section comes in, boom, it hits you. Nothing is too clouded so far. Everything kind of has its own space. I can hear the guitar parts, the piano parts, you know, the drums, the bass. I think your vocal sounds really good, and yeah, everything's just really spot on, man. Super, super good job so far. Let's keep going.
I walked out this morning for a cigarette. You on my mind, I'm filled with regret, but only for a second, and then I'm back.
Man, I'd really love to hear that that guitar out on one of the sides. I'm never a fan of having two things compete for each other, two things that are really important. The two things here being your vocal and that guitar, right? So you're kind of doing your, you know, playing some licks, some filler stuff in between singing, but also when you are singing. So I think if you put that out left or right, then you're gonna create more separation between your vocal and the guitar. You're still gonna be able to hear both of them, right? But at they're not gonna clash. So when you have your vocal coming up the middle, which is, you know, pretty standard, but you kind of have that guitar coming up the middle too, and I would just love to hear that sort of to one side or the other, because it's like the brain wants to focus on, you know, with psychoacoustics, like the brain wants to focus on sort of left, center, and right, LCR, panning. You know, we can debate or talk about that all day long. That's not the point. The point is that for me, it's like people can easily discern something that's on the left side, something that's up the center, and something that's on the right-hand side when they're listening to music in stereo. So, yeah, I would just definitely just get that out to one side. The tone is great. I mean, I want to be able to hear that a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a guitar player, as a guitar nerd too, I want to be like, you know, man, I really, really want to hear both your vocal and the guitar equally.
To breathing you in again. Tell me this, was I wrong to believe in you and I, so many times, so many times. And you and I.
All right, two things with the kick and the snare. The kick is getting a little bit lost because it's a little pillowy. It doesn't quite have the bottom end heft, and it doesn't quite have enough attack on the click of the beater. So I would definitely sort of throw some EQ on there. I've said this before about kick drums, but I love using, I'll just show you real quick. I love using 1073s. So what I would do is, you can use a 1081 as well, a Neve 1081, but check it out. If I get a 1073, I like to do two things to kick drums on here. Don't have my glasses on, of course. I just think it's 50. Yeah, it's 50 for the 1073. Anyway, I'll put the 50 for the high pass filter. So it's like the first click, right? So we click in the first one. I've got two Neves over here, and I love them. I love the Neve EQs and everything, but I'll just do the first click on the high pass filter, which is 50 hertz, and then what I'll do is I'll come over here to 35, and I'll boost some of this low shelf here. Okay, so basically what we're doing is, I'm trying to do this backwards. We're high passing, so we're pulling off a little bit of bottom of the kick drum, and then we're boosting this low shelf. So what happens is you get this bump sort of occurring where the slope of the high pass filter is. So that takes care of some of the low end. If 35 doesn't work or doesn't sound good, try 60. 60 or 35 usually does it for me. And then what I'll do is I'll come up here to the mid band, and then I'll take some 3.2 or some 4.5. That is 4.5, 4.6. 4.8. Man, I should probably start wearing my glasses when I do this, huh? 4.8. The point is it's somewhere in that upper mids, you know, like the 3K, the 4K, 5K area, where you really get a lot of that smack on the beater of the kick. That would make a huge difference for me listening to this on your kick drum. and I think it would have a dramatic impact for your mix. The other thing is too is that the snare could sort of use a little bit of parallel compression. I feel like that would sound awesome on here. When you go back here, it was a little bit quiet. I'm sorry, I meant to say loud. It's actually, I'm doing this on a Sunday night. I don't have time to shoot this tomorrow, so I'm doing it on a Sunday. It's sort of like the end of the day for me. I'm a little fried. Coming over here, the drums are kind of like the same level, right? So I would automate the drum volume down a little bit for this verse part.
Was I wrong to believe in you and I?
Because it's just a little bit loud, and then when the chorus comes in here,
So many times.
it stays the same volume to my ears. So what would be very cool would be to do those tweaks to the kick and the snare, automate your drum volume down a little bit. I always send my drums to one fader, want to call it a VCA or an all bus or whatever. So I'll bring it down and then I'll automate it back up so it has more impact when we get to the chorus section. Awesome. So good. So good. Really great job. On the end there, that's further testament to riding the overall volume as the song builds, as you get to the latter stages of a tune, the last verse, the last pre-chorus, the last chorus. You really want that end to be like a big crescendo. So I feel like you could push the entire volume up on the end here. Just to get that to sound really big. It's all about dynamics. Dynamics are so important when we listen to music. I'm a huge fan of, I was born in 1983, right? So I grew up I remember when I got my first CD player, was like 90 or 91, and the first 3 CDs I got were Pearl Jam 10, Nirvana Nevermind, and Smashing Pumpkins Siamese Dream. Now, I'm not trying to talk about, what kind of music I like, even though I do like 90s rock a lot, certain 90s rock. But one thing that always amazed me when I listened to Nirvana records was the dynamics that they had between the verses and the choruses. Like, think about something like in Bloom, when the chorus comes in and Dave Grohl's ripping that snare fill, and Kurt's screaming, and it sort of takes it from here and it goes to here. And then after that hook, it comes back down. Andy Wallace, mixed that record, and Butch Vig produced it. 2 geniuses, 2 complete geniuses. So, I get it. I get that they are on another level, but, these are some tricks that we can sort of take and learn from our favorite music. I like to sort of do things, for my favorite records that I hear that makes me happy, and I implement that into my music. So I'm just sharing that with you, that when people listen to music, I think they want to sort of get smacked in the face sometimes by a chorus in a good way, Anyway, so off my soapbox. But great job. Really enjoyed the mix. That was You and I by the band Sister Noises from my man NIK Giengerer. Ginger or Ginger? Man, I'm terrible with names. I'm so sorry, bro. But anyway, loved it. And I think that was your best mix yet. You submitted some other mixes that were also really good. So very cool. Sister Noises, for sure. Next up, my man Josh ERNISSE. The song is Tiring by the band Wrathmonk. Let's do it. Let me just pull up my mix tool so I don't blow you guys away. I got a comment, by the way, in I think last week's video, that my vocal mic is way quieter than the the audio coming from the DAW. If that bothers you guys, let me know. I can make adjustments during editing, but I always try and make the music a little bit louder so you guys can really hear, hear what's going on. But let me know in the comments if that bothers any of you. This is a great example of exactly what I was talking about, where you can create some really amazing dynamics between the verses and the choruses. So Josh, sounding really, really good so far, man. Really, really good. Perfect example, like if I pull this back to the pre-chorus here. How long must I wait? Ready? No more. It's tiring to be fighting, pretending. That's that volume difference that I think is super impactful in mixes, regardless of the genre, regardless of the band or whatever. It could be an acoustic song, it could be a pop song, whatever. It just depends on how much difference in dynamics that we're actually using and doing to sort of excite the listener. So yeah, really digging it so far. Sounds great. Let's keep going. How do I take control? Find the fulfilling flow. How do I free my soul? How do I free my soul? How long must I wait? I'd love to hear a little bit more vocal in terms of volume and in terms of weight. So if you are not compressing your vocal in parallel, that's something I would highly, highly recommend. I use parallel compression on I don't want to say everything, but almost everything. I will almost always use parallel compression on my drum kit. I will almost always use it on vocals, lead vocals in particular, gang vocals, background vocals, bass, guitars. The more I mix, the further I walk on my audio path, and everyone's on their own point in their own path of music, of audio, wherever you are. And that's the beautiful thing, is you never stop learning, you never stop refining what you do, your technique, honing your craft. And I was watching Jakir King mix a song recently, and really inspiring. He was pretty much doing a wet dry bus on everything. And what I mean by that is he had so instead of sending stuff out all the time necessarily to ascend and a return using compression, he would just have he would have two drum buses. One would be wet, and when I say wet, I mean super compressed, or extremely compressed, extremely EQ'd, affected. The other one would not be. So sort of a dry wet setup where he's retaining all of the transient information from the dry bus, but then he's really crushing and getting all of that flavor from the wet bus, and it just sounds great. Anything you put it on. So just some food for thought there. Would love parallel compression on that vocal. Follow up the parallel compression with some EQ. I love doing parallel compression, parallel EQ on a boost. Sounds great. I love how the toms are really big and impactful here, but for me, I'd love to hear them panned a little bit farther out. They sound a bit narrow, just not really how a drum kit sounds when you're listening to it in the room. I'd love to just hear it a little bit, you know, rack tom a little bit farther that way, floor tom a little bit farther that way. It'd be great. Right on, man. Awesome job. Really solid mix. Sounds really good. Enjoyed it a lot. Thank you, Josh, for sharing that. Now, one thing I heard towards the end there was just a little bit of clashing and masking happening, and the low mids and the mids from all the mid-heavy material we got going on. So I heard a lot of synth pads happening, some virtual strings, guitars coming in, and they're all sort of fighting for these low mids. One thing you could do there is go through and figure out, sort of carve spaces for each individual thing. I just wish I could hear all the pieces a little bit more. It's just kind of brewing in this cauldron of low mids and mids. I don't know if this is going to do it if I pull a little low mids out or mids out. I'm not really sure that's going to help it here, because to me it sounds very, very specific to certain guitars and certain synth pads. So maybe a little 200. There's some stuff fighting for that space. Hear that? There's a lot of stuff going on there. I would say that the snare fundamental is somewhere around there. You're hearing some of the kick on the top end. So you're getting drums, bass, guitars, synth pads that all want to live there. So just carving out, listening to those frequencies and those instruments when you're going through. It might not be everything that you need to carve some 200 out of, but it could be, a little 200 on one guitar, might be a little 300 on another synth pad. Let them all sort of live in their own areas and sort of get them sounding good together. But it sounds great though, man. Really, really great mix. That was Tiring by Wrathmonk. Yeah, Wrathmonk, mixed by Josh ERNISSE. Thank you, Josh, for that. Great job, man. Moving along. We've got some Danish ska. Super stoked from my man JASPER HOLST. This is Amazing Mr. Marvin. So let's check out this amazing tune. Here we go. All right, I'm hearing a couple things so far. I feel like we've got a lot of nasally buildup going on. in this mix. I'm going to see if we can clear a little bit of it out, but you hear... Right, so you got a lot of that stuff happening throughout, which is common when you have horns in songs like this, because you can get built up with the horns, trombones, trumpets, saxophones, things like that. In the low mids, 500, 400, these kind of areas in here is where those types of things like to live. Matter of fact, at the moment, I'm mixing a very cool indie hip hop track for a client of mine, and there's a bunch of trombones playing parts in there. And what I've had to do is strategically go through and make sure that these four, there's like 4-part trombones. When I say 4-part, I mean there's like 4-part harmonies, like playing these very cool things, like almost like Allman Brothers style lead guitar licks, but with trombones. And sort of getting a lot of buildup happening in sort of in this MIDI area right here. So let's listen.
Mr. Marvin performing on the scene.
I heard some stuff back there. Let's just move back a little bit. This area right here with some 300, a lot of the nasal is kind of living here. You can hear it intensify when the vocal comes in. Every time the vocalist goes to sing, boom, you get more 300 in there. So that's something that you're going to want to look to sort of take out. I was also hearing like a ringy snare fundamental. Harmonic coming up somewhere around 750 up here.
You disappear unseen.
Got to go back where it was hitting the snare. So right around 780, 790. Listen to the snare hit. I'm going to narrow that up. Might be able to just notch it out.
Racing Mr.
When it hits, it really sort of the harmonic kind of goes nuts there.
Racing Mr. Marvin performing on the scene, locked up in chains and coffins. He disappears unseen. He turns up in the crowd, dressed up in coat and mirror, and no one ever knows just how he disappeared. Amazing Mr. Marvin did a TV show.
Yeah, that's like the main issue that I'm having with this mix, Jasper. It's almost hard to tell what's going on with all the other stuff because it's so low mid and mid heavy. It's just really congested down there, right? Listen, I'm just gonna pull this in and out, and I'll do the auto matching on the level here. So I'm taking out some like 100, little 200, little 300, and almost a little 800. So it kind of makes sense, right? I'm pulling out a lot of these harmonics that are kind of going nuts. And then I'm high passing to about 35. Let's listen when I pull this in and out.
Cold and mirror, and no one ever knows just how he disappeared. Amazing Mr. Marvin did a TV show. The Bank of England strong room seemed the perfect place to.
Right, so you kind of get the idea there, but I would definitely go in and do some corrective, subtractive EQ. Figure out what's giving you that nasally resonance buildup, you know, between the horns, between the snare. I'm hearing some ringy frequencies going on there. Just make sure that you're addressing that. Always use reference mixes. I say this all the time. A reference mix would save you from this. I'm pretty sure that you didn't use a reference mix when you mix this, because if you did, you would listen to something else and be like, man, there's a lot of low mid buildup in this. You know, you can almost tell when people do and don't. And it's so easy because all you have to do is pull in a track that is similar, you know, to yours, that is already on a record that has been, the way I describe it is received well by the public and sounds good on all different sound sources, whether you listen to it in your car, on your phone, you know, on a portable speaker, wherever. It's going to sound good across all different things, and people have heard it and they've given it a universal thumbs up saying, I like this song and I like the way it sounds. You know, it's so easy to do it. All you got to do is go into iTunes, wherever you keep your music, make a playlist called, you know, My Reference Tracks or something like that. And then when it comes time to mix, I always try and have a few different things from some different genres in, so that I have a control. I have a point of reference, so that when I listen to what I'm doing, if I get too far off where, you know, if I'm trying to head north on my compass, if I get off of true north, you know, I'm going to know it by kind of flicking back and forth to my reference mix. So I'm going to turn the EQ off now. We'll just keep listening.
Go. The gates were closed and locked, and he disappeared alright. But a million pounds sterling disappeared with him that night. Mr. Marvin, where do you go when you go away? Mr. Marvin, please show us your trick. It might come in handy someday.
The other thing that I almost feel like I'm hearing is it almost sounds like there's a low pass filter or a high cut on the whole mix or something like that. Like, check this out. If just copy this, we'll do this. We'll blow these out. So if I put in a high cut and I'm just going to show you what that sounds like, sort of the thing I've got in my head. So if I take, where's that at, 840? If we come back to this song. Now I'm going to roll the top off and listen to sort of like the muted sort of tonality that comes from this, that I'm sort of hearing in Amazing Mr. Marvin. It's time to get by, pretending that you're admiring, let it go, smiling and smiling through. Right, you hear how that sounds? Now if I keep this off, listen to the top end here.
Hey, Mr. Marvin, please show us your trick. It might come in handy someday.
It almost sounds a little underwater. And Jasper, man, I'm totally not trying to make you feel bad. I'm totally not calling you out at all. It happens to the best of us, man, right? Like, it's a part of learning and growing when you're mixing is, I used to struggle a lot with having too much low end in my mixes. So I'd have stuff that was too muddy, that was often too bass heavy, because A, I didn't know my room, B, I didn't really understand certain things I was doing, you know, in that regard. So another common flip side of that, a flip flop, would be with the top end. If something's too bright, I hear a lot of you know, a lot of mixes that can be too bright. Another thing might be, you know, you might be worried about it being bright, so you might make some mix decisions, be it during EQing or compressing, where you're really kind of cranking off the, you know, the top end a little bit. So I'm hearing some of this top end sort of muted, as well as having some of this low mid buildup. Those are the two main areas I'm hearing here, and it's kind of hard for me to be objective with all the other stuff because of these two two areas. So you're gonna have a little bit of homework to do, Jasper, but that's okay, man. The best situations to learn from are whenever we make mistakes or we sort of don't hit the nail on the head all the time. I know that some of the biggest lessons I've learned in my life is when, you know, I don't do something correctly, and we all have that. We're all human beings, right? So again, I'm not picking on you at all, man. I'm super stoked, and I love the tune so far. It is, love the horns, love the groove. It's great. Let's keep listening.
Mr. Marvin, where do you go when you go away? Mr. Marvin, please show us your trick. It might come in handy someday. Sitting on a southern beach with a glass of gin and lime. It's Mr. Marvin, the Houdini of our time. That disappearing act of this century was what the papers wrote, but they too will see. Amazing Mr. Marvin did the job complete. Plastic surgery turned him into Mr. Smith, and he got a job working at Fort Knox. Now he waits for the right chance to disappear with the bucks. Mr. Marvin, where do you go when you go away? Mr. Marvin, please show us your trick. It might come in handy someday. Mr. Marvin, where do you go when you go away? Mr. Marvin, please show us your trick. It might come in handy someday.
All right, so look at the EQ here. Now it goes away, of course. There was a whole sort of slope happening around 10K. So around 10K, everything sort of took a dive. Just watch when I hover. I have to hover the mouse over this for it to stay. But watch it slope down around 10K.
Your trick, it might come in handy someday.
Right, you see it sort of kind of go down there. Now this is off, right? This is, let me just blow this out of here. That's off, but just so you know, Jasper, look at those two areas, all right? Because those are the two main problems that's going on here. Your mids, lower mids, and you're just missing a lot of the high-end sheen that you want to be there. You want things to sound nice and sort of, I don't want to say bright. That might be the wrong word, but you want a nice full EQ spectrum on your mix. You know, unless you're going for like a telephone style effect on a part or something like that. But you know, just pay attention to what's going on. There's so many companies that make free spectrographs, like I think Blue Cat has one that's free. Not the meter, the Freak Analyst. So like you could download this guy for free. And you could really get a gauge of what's going on in your mix with the EQ spectrum. See, everything at past 10K is just way down, which is, you know, fairly uncommon for a lot of stuff. So, and then you could also see the buildup that's going on up here and up here, right? This is the area that you've got a lot of buildup going on, and this is the area that you're missing with a whole lot of the tonality. So 2 areas to look at, quite a bit of work, you know, but that's okay, because you're going to definitely learn the most from experiences like this. So I would love to hear your tweaked revision. You know, any of these that I do, send me your revisions. Would love to hear them. And in the email, just make a note and say, hey, this is a revision from a tune I did. It's sort of hard to keep track of all these because there's a lot of them. But, you know, I would love to hear any things. You know, if you have any questions too, you know, leave a comment below, shoot me an email. I am here at your service. So thank you for that, Jasper. Awesome. Love the tune. Amazing. Mr. Marvin by Napoleon Solo. Groovin'. Love horns. Love horns. I started playing trumpet. That was my first instrument when I was like 7. So love me some brass. Last up, I'm excited to hear this. We've got a song from Russia. This is, I don't know what the name of the tune is because, let's see. Nope, I don't read Russian, but as you can see, it is definitely in Russian here. And the only thing, it looks like MVP, but it's not MVP. The only thing that I know for sure is it says it's by Artek Electronica. So I think that's the band, is Artek Electronica. And I know that Olga Zhuravleva mixed this. So I'm stoked to hear it. Let's go.
Что из нашей жизни игра? Лишь одно мгновенье. Обернется все песком, без дождя и ветра. Капли на твоем лице, от дождя грибного. Мы построим новый мир, без вражды и ссоры. Путеводная звезда изредка сверкает.
All right, very cool so far. A couple things that I'm hearing. 2 main areas that I would tweak. I'm getting a real strong bass fundamental around 60 hertz. So I would just pull that down a little bit. That's a very common frequency for a bass fundamental. Let's turn this back on. So right around here, it's really kind of powering pretty hard. So you could probably do a little high pass filtering on it and tuck off some of the bottom to kind of tame that. But I would just turn the bass down a little bit. I would make sure you're compressing it, so you're kind of, you know, having it live, live between the noise floor and the noise ceiling on your compressor. And then the other thing that I'm sort of hearing a little bit of is sibilance on the vocal. Now, female vocals are tough. They're always hard because as I bang my mic, the higher you sing and register, it's going to excite the capsule of the microphone. It just happens. Some people just have sibilant voices. Guys have sibilant voices. And there's many different miking techniques that you can do to prevent that during the recording stage. But if you're just mixing it and you don't have the ability to retract vocals and you have sibilant vocals, of course, reach for a de-esser. If that doesn't solve your problems, you can try some multi-band compression. I mean, that's really all a de-esser is anyway, is a multi-band compressor. It's compressing that area you're telling it to compress. You can also do a very broad cut in some of the, probably somewhere up around here. I'm guessing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7K is where a lot of sibilance takes place. So, it's tough, but de-essing, multi-band compressing will surely help that a little bit. And it's not it's not taking my head off by any means, but it could definitely use a little de-essing.
Если наша жизнь игра, где же своды правил? Я тебе скажу тогда, мы не проиграем. Сердцу юному всегда что-то не хватает. Ветра теплого у нас много не бывает. Если наша жизнь игра, если лишь мгновенье.
All right, so the drums coming in now. The kick and the snare are sounding a little bit flubby and a little bit muddy to me. So, you know, let me keep listening.
Проведу его с тобой.
Sounds to me like they're sample based. You know, for sure the kick is. Maybe pick a different sample. I know flubby is such a bad word. Using those words like warm, bright, dark. You know what I'm saying? All those buzzwords. But you know, when I think flubby, I think the kick it's not hitting me in the chest, and I'm not sort of hearing a lot of the attack. I'm hearing everything in the middle.
До изнеможения.
So it's kind of like flop, 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 flop instead of thump, thump, or thwat. You know, again, very, very sophisticated wording going on here. But I'm sure you all know what I mean when I say that. And the thing about the snare is, we're just getting a little bit of boxiness in the low mids. I could probably guarantee you that's around 400 hertz. Pull out a little bit of 400, you'll be good. Drums down a little bit, bass down a little bit. The rhythm section's a little hot. I think the acoustics sound great. I think the vocals sound great, minus a little bit of that sibilance. So overall, it's solid. Just a couple little tweaks here, and I think, Olga, you'll have something really killer going on. Start automating this, bringing it up, pushing it up.
Капли на твоем лице, от дождя крепного. Мы построим новый мир, без вражды и ссоры.
Cool. All the way from Russia. Heck yeah. Great song. Very cool. Good mix, you know. Something else that I was really able to hear with the vocals there in the end is that they're missing quite a bit of body too. I feel like they almost were high-passed a little bit too aggressively, losing some of the, you know, some of the substance that you kind of need on a female vocal. So I'd love to hear a little bit more of that. You know, I would say that 300, boosting a little bit where the slope comes. So let's say you're on you're high passing on a female vocal, And most of the time you can get away going to like 200 or something like that. So let's just assume you're high passing at 200. So then I'll often come up and I'll just put a little bump here, you know, so there it's 300, just so you're getting a little bit of that body back from cutting all that low end away that you don't need. But you're ensuring that way you're hearing the good lows, not the bad lows you want to get rid of, but the good lows. So anyway, yeah, all in all, just, you know, the kick, the snare, they need a bit of work, little bit of de-essing on the vocal, bring some of that body back into the vocal. Also in that last chorus, throw a little bit of reverb on your snare. Your snare was a little dry. You know, it's a wetter kind of tune. A lot of your piano was super wet. The vocal was pretty wet. So I think some reverb on the snare would be very cool. Throw some reverb on the kick as well. I know not a lot of people think maybe reverb on kick, but happens all the time. It's a great place to just push it back. Not to make it, you know, kick, slap, hear the decay, but just to push it back into the mix a little bit. So, but really great job. Thank you so much for that. That was Olga Zhuravleva, and that was the band Arctic Electronica. So really appreciate that. Very, very cool. So great job. As always, guys, we had 4 super cool mixes today. May 8th. Okay, 2017. First up, we had NIK GIENGER. That was You and I by the band Sister Noises, and I believe that's Nick's band, so really great job. Love the tunes. Tiring by Wrathmonk, mixed by Josh ERNISSE. Thank you for that, Josh. Great job. Really enjoyed those first 2 were really good mixes, so really good job. Jasper, my man Jasper with some Danish ska, killing it. Amazing Mr. Marvin. A little bit of work for you to do, Jasper, on that. But that's okay. Like I said, we learn the most from having to do work, or sort of having to, you know, I don't want to say make mistakes, because it's okay to make mistakes. I make mistakes every day. But I'm excited to hear what you do with that. So leave a comment, shoot me an email, send me a revision. It's all good. We'll get you taken care of. And last but not least, you just heard Olga Zhurableva and Arctic Electronica. So big thanks to the 4 of you, as always. I will be back next week with another 4 mixes. So if you guys want to be on a Mix Critique Monday, if you would like a free mix critique, all you have to do is email me, pete@mixbetternow.com. All the instructions are below in the description box. If you forget what I said in the beginning, but I'll say it again, that's okay. Send me a downloadable WAV file, the name of the mix, the name of yourself, the name of the band if it's different from you, and it's first come, first serve. So get them in. Get them while they're hot. Right now, we're pushed out about a month, I think. I got it down to about a month, so about a 4-week delay from when I get them at the moment, but that could change at any time, so send them in, okay? Appreciate it. Big thanks to Nick, Josh, Jasper, and Olga, and this has been another Mix Critique Monday. My name is Pete, okay? Just want to say thanks again. I appreciate you guys. Leave lots of comments. If you enjoyed this, hit that subscribe, hit that like button, and if you haven't gotten your free audio swag bag yet from jumping on my email list, make sure you head over and do that on the website. There's a link in the show notes where you could click on, go sign up on the email list, and I will send you my free swag bag full of goodies like multi-track sessions you can mix, mix templates, free drum samples, free plugins, okay? My top 20 free plugin list and links to go download them. We got Percasti reverb, impulse responses, all kinds of good goodies. I was gonna say good and good goodies. Told you it's late on a Sunday, right? Anyway, guys, thank you so much as always. I appreciate your time, appreciate you watching. I all hope you have an awesome day, and I will catch you next time. See ya.